Stay away from me. So for this video I'm going to do something I've been wanting to share for a while, some self-defense sparring. And ideally we would have a camera person, but we have to place 2 static cameras. Now what makes this different from regular types of sparring? The primary thing is the environment. As you can see, there's not a lot of space to do a lot of like fancy footwork or circling around, and it's also very risky to do a lot of high kicks. If I get my opportunity, that's one of the areas I'm good in, so I may do something with a high kick, but I'm very mindful of the ground because this ground is concrete. That's also why we're wearing headgear. But for self-defense, you don't want to do too many high kicks and just hitting the ground. Also, it's dangerous if you're down here. You need to make sure to get up as quickly as possible. Now, we're going to do 2 rounds. 1 round, just empty-handed sparring, and 1 where we're going to place 2 improvised weapons. This one represents a broomstick, but it's safe to use. Now, because of the environment with some light bulbs and stuff, we have to be a bit careful, so we won't swing it up high. But nonetheless, this may come into play during the 2nd round. And also this, which is a tent, but it's going to represent something like either a bicycle wheel or a trash can lid or something you can use for self-defense. And I want to say special thanks to my buddy Shinobi, and there'll be a link to his channel in the description. He'll be my sparring partner for this, and I've really been waiting to have the chance to train with someone willing to take some risk and test this out. If you want to try this, make sure to do it light contact, very light at first, and with the proper safety gear. Hey, where are you going? Hey, what? Er der gået 2 minutter? I can hit pretty hard to the ground. Okay. Hey, watch where you're going. Hey, what the fuck? Good thing we were wearing the headgear. Although I'm not sure if it was my palm strike or something else, but you mentioned getting hit.
Yeah.
To the nose.
I was hit right on the nose. I don't know if it was a normal fist or a palm.
I did a lot of palm strikes because I wanted to protect the knuckles, like as if I wasn't wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Just being mindful of the self-defense aspect, but yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it would be so intense. I would say this was the most intense sparring I have ever done.
Yeah. Survival instincts.
I think we used everything here.
He landed more than one knee. At one point, I felt like I got the full impact. I think perhaps it went just pushed the protection to the side or something, because I was still feeling it. But we're still going to do one more round with the possibility of improvised weapons.
Yeah.
Now, if they don't come into play, then perhaps we'll get to do this some other time, because we want to keep it natural, so we don't want to agree to use them or anything. They're just there as tools, just as well as the wall and everything else.
We did get on the ground. I even tried at one point to do a foot lock or whatever it's called. I didn't pull it off. You were good to defend yourself.
I tried to go for a triangle choke on the ground, because this area, it's an isolated spot, so it's just a one-on-one confrontation, so you have that time to stay on the ground and keep fighting. If he has any friends nearby or something, you want to get up as soon as possible. Alright, let's get to round 2.
No, what the fuck, man?
Hey, no.
You got a problem?
No, no problem.
What the fuck, man?
I have no problem.
Yeah, but I have. Hey! Oh, my fuck. Stay away. Stay away from me. You started it. Stay away. You started it, man. Stay away. Oh, come on. Well done. No. What the fuck, man?
Hey, no.
You got a problem?
No problem.
What the fuck, man?
I have no problem.
Yeah, but I have.
Hey! Stay away! Stay away from me!
You started it!
Stay away!
You started it, man!
Stay away!
Oh, come on. Well done.
Perhaps you've got some. You've taken a few hits, I think, perhaps, but we're both more or less okay, and no significant injuries. Most importantly, let's talk a bit about what happened here in round 2. Do you want to start?
Yes, the starting scenario was exactly the same as in round 1, and we discussed about this, that this would be maybe the most realistic way to start a fight. In a place like this, there's not much space, so we can easily bump into each other, and from there on there's one who is the aggressor. Michael said from the beginning, I don't want to fight. So obviously I was the aggressor here. And one thing I want to talk about is the improvised weapon, the broomstick. I thought I could take it because it was, around here, and I was so concentrated on Michael that I didn't see where it was, and I passed the point, and then I said, oh shit, now he is closer to it, and Michael actually took it and used it. We did use again judo and jiu-jitsu. We came quickly on the ground, and I was trying so hard to get you from this position, and I hoped that I could use one of the throws, but you were very stable and it didn't work.
In the previous round I found out from experience, I already knew in theory about how dangerous it is going to the ground with this kind of concrete, even wearing the headgear, so I really tried to stay standing. We can all agree that for self-defense it's good to avoid the ground, and you want to try and maintain distance and strike from a distance. That's all great, but you need to also be prepared for going to the ground, because for instance in an environment like this, it's no coincidence that we both times ended up on the ground eventually, because there's not a lot of space to move. So it got into clinching, and from there grappling pretty fast. And at the point where you were trying to get the broomstick, I was already on the attack with an improvised weapon. This, which could be something like a trash can lid, or perhaps even like a wheel, or anything in this shape. And I'll have to look at the footage, but I think I was striking and using it to block.
You did use it as a shield, I think.
Yeah, to obscure the vision.
With a kick, low kick.
Yeah, exactly, like this, to bring a front kick, I think it may have been. And I'm not sure whether I threw it at some point. I had that in the back of my head anyways, but it all went so quickly. And then I saw the broomstick, and the reason why I grabbed it was mostly just because I didn't want you to grab it.
Yeah.
So
one thing I want to mention is that I am not trained in judo or jiu-jitsu. I know a couple of moves, but when I started to train with Michael at Wushu Chidao, we did some BJJ. I also did some judo with Sifu Nicholas, and we actually had one of his friends, Adrian, who is a BJJ guy, and he taught me some moves, and I'm so happy that he did, and also Michael, because I actually used it and it worked. So Michael was on top of me, and he basically controlled me. And the further up you are here at the body, the more control you have, so you will have a very hard time to get out. But I managed actually to use my arm and my knee to create a distance. So it really paid off, and I would say, you know, you can train boxing and kickboxing, but for God's sake, get the basics of judo and jiu-jitsu, because it will save your life. And as you saw in the video, I flipped the game and I came on top on Michael and just, you know, ground and pound. So it is very, very important skill to have.
Yeah, and I actually felt in the first round that you had the better of me in the ground. And even in this second round, when you managed to get on top and mount, you were just being super aggressive, and really, if I wasn't wearing the headgear, I probably would have been finished. Luckily, I managed to at one point do a sweep, which felt great because I'm not a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, I'm more of a striker. I just have some fundamentals. And also another moment, I was trying to get the head and arm choke. And you were doing a great job defending, because I was really close to finishing it, but I didn't quite. And that's actually one of the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves for self-defense if you want to finish the fight and not just control the opponent. Because if you manage to squeeze properly and get the full-on choke, then you can end it quickly, and also you're positioned on top, so it's not like a triangle choke where you're on the ground in case somebody else shows up. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, not only to Zen-Dragon but to Shinobi as well.
Yes.
There's not a lot of people willing to test out stuff like this and do it on camera. So thanks for watching. After years of free content, the time has come where I need a helping hand from some of you. You can support me with $3 each month or 5 or 10 for a few extra benefits. Supporting Zen-Dragon via Patreon will probably make no difference to you financially. If you're living hand to mouth, I don't want your money. Then I'd rather you keep them for yourself. Don't worry, I'll be alright. The donations are in place to help cover equipment and other expenses for the channel. Now that I'm also a father, it's more challenging than ever to find the time to create and share free content. But if enough of you support on Patreon, there will come a day where I can cut down my 9-to-5 job, either partially or altogether, which will make it sustainable to continue creating and sharing free content here on YouTube. Even if that does not happen, I'll still continue sharing, but possibly with longer breaks in between. Thanks for listening. Now visit my Patreon, that's patreon.com/Zen-Dragon. I greatly appreciate you for listening and for continually watching Zen-Dragon.